What is going on YouTube? If you don't know who I am already, my name is Troy, and obviously you can't see, I have my own sweater. I'm probably put the link down in the description. It does say black is beautiful. I know it's obviously going to be flipped, or probably going to be flipped in the video. But if you want to get the shirt, obviously hard times, I'm not expecting anyone to get it. It is going to be in the description. Today I just wanted to talk about the whole George Floyd situation. Rest in peace to him. Police brutality, and the comments I've been seeing a lot from majority of white people. I want to start about what happened. Obviously, if you haven't seen the video, obviously I'm not going to play the video. But in the video, there's 4 police officers. One of them obviously is standing to the side, and then there's 3 of them on top of the guy. And one of them has his knee on his neck, which ultimately caused him to stop breathing, and he ended up dying. So the first argument was that he was resisting arrest. That's what led to them doing that. I'm not arguing that having 3 people to stop one guy is unnecessary, because a lot of guys could be bigger and stuff like that and run away from police officers. Obviously, you need more than one, so that's not my argument. My argument is that the way it was handled was wrong. I guess you could use 3 people to take down one person, but you shouldn't have to. One, he was already handcuffed, so it's not like he's running too far, and you're already on top of him. So it's not like he needed to be treated that way. You didn't need to put your knee on his neck in order to stop him. He was already handcuffed and all that. So obviously that was wrong. That was obviously wrong on their part. I want to say 3, I don't know about the 4th one. I know 3 of the other police officers were fired, which I'm going to talk about later and why that doesn't really mean much. But 3 police officers were fired, and obviously the video goes out. A lot of black people are outraged. Also white people. I'm not going to say that only black people are outraged. Obviously a mix of people were outraged. It's an outrageous event. So I'm going to put the comment probably, or the post for you somewhere here, if I remember. But LeBron James posted a picture on Instagram, and in the picture it's obvious that he was being pro-black. I was scrolling through the comments. Obviously there'd be mostly people who are with him, meaning what they did was wrong. There's also where the people against that who are saying, well, what did he do wrong? Which, first and foremost, that's only an argument I ever see used against black people, to say, well, what did he do wrong to be put in that situation? When technically, as of right now, he's the victim of being murdered. Until obviously evidence proves and comes out, which again we'll talk about a little bit later. But as of right now, it doesn't matter what he did. The fact that as of right now, all we know is that this man was murdered. So for you to ask as your first question, well, what did he do wrong? You're assuming that he must have done something wrong for a police officer to do that, which is wrong, because you're putting the blame on the victim and not on the person who did the thing wrong. Let a white person die by police, which again, no one ever said that that doesn't happen. That's never the argument by Black Lives Matter, that white people don't have issues too. But when what happens to a white person is always, well, the cop did something wrong, which is what the thing should be for everyone. It should always be, well, why did the cop do that, not what did the person who died did wrong. So that was the argument a lot of people were saying. Obviously most people didn't agree with it, most people were against it. And then it led to kind of other things where people were trying to find a way to, again, find something on his background to where, oh, he must have done this in the past, he must have done this a lot of times and stuff like that, which again never brought up when it's with dealing with white people. No one ever really cares unless it's something like outrageous, like murder, kidnapping, something with children, raping. It's never an issue of let's bring up his past unless it's a black individual. So to say that, like, oh, he must have a criminal past is point blank stupid. It should never be a brought up issue. So then we get to like the point where people are just trying to find and justify a way for being with the police just because they're in a position of authority, which leads to the point of resisting arrest. Obviously there's security cam footage that he actually was not resisting arrest at all. So that which was another part of, I'm going to say white people because that's the majority of comments that I saw. White people were arguing that, oh, he must have been resisting arrest, and he probably was resisting arrest, when evidence does come out that from I think it was a grocery store or some kind of store had their camera picked up that he was not at all resisting arrest. And the term of resisting arrest can be a majority of different things. Like if you're stopped by the police and the police ask you to get out of your car and your first question is, what did I do wrong? They can file that as resisting arrest because you're not complying with them to get out the car. It doesn't happen often with white people that they're put in that situation where they're automatically assumed to be resisting arrest. But we've seen many times before with black individuals who ask the question of what am I doing wrong or what did I do wrong, and they're automatically labeled as resisting arrest. So, and that's the problem in itself. The term of resisting arrest doesn't always necessarily mean that they're actually resisting being arrested. Asking the question, why am I being arrested, is a common response. And I brought up the fact of thinking about it with teachers. When you're in school or whatever, and the teacher tells you to leave the classroom, your first automatic response is, well, what did I do wrong? You're not resisting being told to leave. You're just trying to figure out the situation and why you're put in that situation. It's a common response for technically everyone to not comply with police and try to figure out what they're doing wrong. So for you saying that he must be resisting arrest just for when he could just simply be asking questions, and for a lot of white people to assume he must be violent and that's what classifies as resisting arrest, is idiotic. You're assuming that he must be a criminal, he must do something wrong. And again, when it comes to white people, that's never an issue, and it's never a question of he must be doing something wrong. Like he must be resisting arrest and fighting back with police. No, not every black person fights against police. So you don't know if you're wrongful, especially black people. You don't know when if you're wrongfully being stopped for something. Then obviously that became the issue, and a lot of people were trying to argue on the side of the police, like, oh, he must have done, like, the victim must have done something wrong, again, which makes no sense. And then everyone's like, oh, well, you don't know what's going to happen to the police officers. We kind of do. Like, being fired is a social media response. And most people don't think about it this way, where technically the police in general, they have social media. So technically they are social media people. They do look at social media. So when they see this outrage, the first thing to do is to fire the people so that way it looks good on their part. And once the situation dies down, they're then reinstated or re-brought back in or put on pension. And the fact that it brought up was, I don't remember the guy's last name, but there was a video that came out, I want to say 2017, 2018, where this guy, I think he was 26, he was being arrested. When he was being stopped, he was being detained. The police officers, there's two of them. There's two I could see. One of them had the body cam. One of them, I think, did the shooting. And what ended up happening was that he's coming out. He had his hands up. He was crawling because that's what they were telling him to do. And he was walking out and all that. And he ended up getting shot when his pants fell and his shorts fell, and he tried to pick them up, which is a common response. And the officers then took that as him possibly pulling out a gun, and they ended up shooting him. And obviously, if you look at the comments, because the video is, I want to say it's on CNN, it's on one of those bigger YouTube sites, that the video is there, and you look at the comments, not one comment was asking what was the crime that even put him in that situation. Which again was my point being brought up, that you only ever see that issue of what did he do wrong brought up with black people. If you look at the comments of the video, everyone's saying what the cop did was wrong. Like, there's no question about what they're doing was wrong. So for the fact that white people are trying to argue that this black man must have done something wrong is, again, idiotic. So once again, just continue the story of what ended up happening. What ended up happening was that the police officer was then fired, and then once the situation died down, he was rehired and put on pension so that way he could receive money for life. You can make the argument that that's obviously not right. Like, the police officer was fired for a reason, for doing something unjust. There's no reason why he's being paid by the police for the rest of his life for doing something wrong. Cops kill black people, get fired for so that way social media can die down and be somewhat happy, just for that police officers to then be reinstated or receive money for life. This then moves on to the All Lives Matter movement, which I'm not going to get too much into. That's, if I want to make a whole nother video, that could be a whole nother video. But the All Lives Matter movement is, let's be honest, is only used to be against Black Lives Matter. And I don't know how many times I have to make this obvious, but Black Lives Matter does not mean all lives don't matter. It just means that Black Lives Matters too, and that it should be put on an equal scale. Because once Black Lives Matter is the thing, and black people feel like their lives matter too, then truly all lives will matter. That's the issue. That's what Black Lives Matter means. So I want to get back to, really quickly, and this is the end of the video, I want to get back to then the LeBron James post with Colin Kaepernick. He used that picture, and again, that was another outrage, saying that using Colin wasn't the right picture because he was disrespecting soldiers, Well, certain soldiers, just because they're soldiers, just because they defend their country, and God bless you for defending your country, doesn't mean you're good people. Because they're a soldier doesn't mean they automatically are free of any wrongdoing whatsoever. Yes, I get it, they fought for our country, but that does not mean that they're excused of all wrongdoing whatsoever. And I think that's the point that people have to get through their heads. That just because, again, you fought for your country doesn't mean that you're excused from doing anything wrong. And that's the issue. You assume that they're excused from doing stuff wrong, and in turn that no one can fight against soldiers. So what Colin did wasn't fighting against soldiers; it was fighting against police brutality. And people are trying to spin that narrative so that way, again, people don't look into what police is doing wrong. And then that moves into Blue Lives Matter, which, again, is only against Black Lives Matter. Doesn't really mean anything because cops do matter. That's an obvious thing, and they're not. Yes, thankfully there are instances where cops are being killed, but in most situations, police outnumber in some way, shape, or form the people because they're in positions of authority. So they matter. They automatically matter more than the regular civilian. So again, Colin wasn't really disrespecting soldiers. That wasn't really much his intention. His intention was to fight against police brutality. What people try to say is that, well, people should find a different way to protest. People forget that there's around 400 years of slavery, right? And within those 400 years, white people got the chance to progress in life. Think about it. While black people were being slaves in America, that whole entire time span, white people technically were allowed to progress, whether it's financials and housing. They were allowed to progress, and you're expecting black people to, and obviously it just doesn't logically make sense that around 60, let's say 100, it doesn't make sense that black people would be on the same level within 100 years as white people when white people had 400 years to advance further than black individuals. Like, you can't expect both groups to be equal within 100 years. Like, you can't expect black people to then skyrocket to the same level as white people within 100 years. That's what Black Lives Matter is trying to do, is make that equality, make it equal between white and black. But white people don't see that because they don't want to accept that there is some sort of injustice until they face it themselves. And that's what I realized was the biggest issue, was that with Colin, they want to see it as something wrong because they don't want to admit the fact that there is wrongdoing, that the police can do something wrong. Because again, police are meant to be seen in a positive light. They're meant to be seen as positive role models and authority figures. But authority figures, especially if you have teachers, even teachers, you got bad teachers. You shouldn't be surprised that authority figures in themselves can be bad as well. But what are we black people going to do? Obviously, we know what we're going to do, but white people just should be against it anyways. If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, my links are going to be down in the description. I'm going to do more of these videos. Obviously, I have nothing better to do in quarantine, and I'm out of school, so I expect to see more videos like this. And if you like the video, make sure to like the video, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Peace.